wasallam. Rahmatun, Rahmatun Muhda, like he is a mercy that is gifted. There is a mercy that is gifted to the worlds. Rahmatun Muhda, right? A mercy that is gifted to the worlds. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Right. So all these are examples to show the great and deep mercy of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and really like in a world of cruelty, right? Just such prevalent cruelty all over the world. To learn about our Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is like, like you're just seeing an angel, right? Even better than an angel. He's above angels, right? He's above all the angels, in his mercy, in his piety, in his goodness. And in fact, this example shows us truly that he is above the angels, because when the angels got angry, even the angels wanted a retribution. Even the angels wanted, to punish the people, right, who harmed our beloved Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, right? But he was the one who prevented them, right, from seeking retribution, right, against his people, and meaning that he is above the angels in his mercy, right? Subhanallah. And so, however, when an angel came, so there's a very well-known story of Ta'if, and we should memorize the story in the Sirah of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, because it is one of the most powerful stories, right, in the Sirah of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Like when he was completely, he was you would say he's at the lowest point of his mission, because from his du'a you can tell that he is at the lowest points of his mission, right? Lowest point meaning his lowest emotions. He is a human being, right? And human beings, they have emotions, and human beings are affected by what we perceive as success and as failure, right? We are affected. We're human beings, right? So when we perceive, is this failure? It affects us as human beings. And Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he is human nonetheless. He is human, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, nonetheless. So, right. So, and that Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, after he having lost his wife, so the entire context of Ta'if, right, it happened in the year after the year of Huzn, Amul Huzn, right, where he himself called the year that, right? So for someone like the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, with the emotional strength of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and of course he is above every human being in any form of strength, in any form of strength, he is above every human being, right? For him to call that particular year the year of grief, right? Then you can only imagine really, the kind of grief that he was going through, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, for the entire year, where he lost his most beloved wife, Sayyidah Khadija, the most important person in his life, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the most beloved human being to him, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. He lost her in that year, and he lost his support, in his uncle, as Abu Talib. Right, so it is like this is the lowest state that he was ever in, and to top it all off, right, to make it even worse, right, people were getting more and more hostile, they're getting more and more violent, right, they're getting more and more repulsive, right? They're repelling the religion, right? And so it seemed it was getting nowhere, right? It seemed that everything was bleak, right? Subhanallah, and of course this was more painful for him than anything else, right? More painful for him, right? Than losing his wife and his uncle, right? Was that people were not accepting the religion. And people were not listening, right? SubhanAllah. He had come to a dead end in Mecca. It was like a dead end. It was like khalas. It was a dead end. People were not listening. And you can imagine, as a prophet, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, that this might seem like a form of failure in the mission, right? Whereas, what all the prophets go through it. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would tell him, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, of the stories of previous prophets, how many of them, right? Almost every single one of them, they come to a point whereby nobody else would believe, and the only people who believed in them, a handful, Right, Nabi Ibrahim, less than five people. Nabi Noah, right? It's very, very few people. Like every single one of them, every single one of them, except Nabi Yunus, right? Which you can find the entire, connection here with Ta'if, right? Because Nabi Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam actually met someone with Nabi Yunus, right? It's an indication that you're going to go the way of Nabi Yunus, right? Because he was the only one whereby his entire town became believers. All the other prophets, every single one of them, right? They died, they passed away with their people disbelieving, right? And only a number that you can count, probably can count on two hands, and only a number of them, right, were believers. Subhanallah. Right, but mashallah is indicative, right? When he went to Ta'if, after whatever Ta'if, like, and he met Adas, right? Adas from Nineveh, right? And Adas, he's from a town Nabi Yunus. It's like, Allah giving the indication to Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam that the future that's coming up, right, is going to be like the one, for Yunus. You're going to be that kind of prophet, whereby your town, right, will embrace Islam. Your town will embrace Islam, not just your town, but the entire peninsula. I will embrace Islam. And subhanAllah, it's all indicative, mashallah. Right? As Allah comforts the heart of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. MashaAllah, the link between Addas and MashaAllah. Right? So he goes off to Ta'if, right, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, so broken and beaten, right, from um, especially from the 3 years of boycott, right? The boycott that happened towards his family, and how many people, suffered in that boycott. And eventually they were released, and then the loss of those people to him, right? And then people just being more and more hostile towards him. Right? Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he goes to Ta'if, right, with hopes. Right? Because, and why Ta'if? Because Ta'if is the second major town in the peninsula, in the Arabian Peninsula at the time, after Mecca. So Mecca is the biggest town, is the most major town in the peninsula because of the Kaaba, and Ta'if is a second major town in the peninsula because of the goddess Lat, right? The goddess Lat is the goddess of Ta'if. Right? So Kaaba has Kaaba. Obviously, Mecca has Kaaba, and Ta'if has Lat, right? And now I think I shared before. I shared on the Fiqh Tahawulat group on how they are trying to revive the goddesses of the Arabs, which is such a you're wondering what in the world, like subhanallah. But they're trying to revive it. They're trying to be proud of their legacy and their I don't know, whatever it is, subhanallah. Some, this is just ignorance. It's just such deep ignorance to want to revive something so foul. You don't revive every single thing of your culture. Like the things in our culture that's just repulsive. You should never revive them. Subhanallah. But anyway, right? This is going on in Saudi Arabia right now. There's something. This all this will call upon la'nat upon them. Curse will be on them if they were to ever dare, exalt or aggrandize these idols, right? That Rasulullah worked so hard to destroy. Right? So sallallahu alaihi wasallam, so of course the Ta'if is under, the influence of three main people, three brothers, right, who were the leaders of Ta'if, right? And of course, here you see a prophetic, wisdom. They don't just go to the people and begin speaking to them, but you go to their leader, right? Because for most societies, right, what their leaders say is they follow. Right, so that's how Islam also spread to many parts of the world, like especially Southeast Asia, whereby the leader was the one who converted, the leader entered into Islam, and everybody else followed. Right? It's basically that, subhanallah. Right. So right. So of course he went to leaders. Leaders were very rude to him. They responded to him in a very unpleasant way. And then he figured out that they're not going to listen. Right. They're very hostile Right? So he just said to them very, very gently, he said to them, and it's really, subhanAllah, this is what we see over and over again, right? People just being cruel for no reason. They're cruel for no reason. They don't have to be that way. Subhanallah is something that teach our young. Do you have to hit? Do you have to, hurt? Do you have to be that way? Do you have to say, terrible words and terrible names? Right? This is something that is so prevalent in the dunya, in this world, that people think they have to do this towards other people, and we see the extremity of it, right? In so many countries right now, right? We see the extremity of it, that people just can't be civil, right? In a civilized world, so called, right? They can't be civil. Subhanallah. Right? So Rasulullah, and Rasulullah is the most civilized human being, subhanallah. And so he just simply said to them, okay, if you don't want to listen to me, you don't want to believe me, then let me take my leave. And I came in quietly. I did not announce anything to anyone. Right? I just came to you guys directly. Let me take my leave silently. I'm going to take my leave quietly. Right? But no, these people, no, right? They would not, allow Rasulullah to go out peacefully, and they had absolutely no reason why they can't allow that. He did nothing to them, man. He did nothing to them, right? But they had absolute. It's not just in like, I won't say wonder, but you know, just 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 shocked, like shocked by the response by of human beings. And just how human beings respond. Right? Nothing happened. Right? Rasul didn't do anything. Right? But no, they had to be mean. They had to be abusive. They had to be, foul. They had to be vile. Right? They had to go out and say to the people, right, stone this man. Like, why in the world? And these people also another one, they have no brains. Right? They just, the leader says stone the guy. Right? So everyone come out, stone him, stone him. No minds of their own, no. Subhanallah. This is the same thing is going on right now. Like the exact same thing. Right? People having no compassion, no nothing. Right? No mercy, nothing. It's just they're worse than animals. Animals don't behave in this way. Animals only harm other animals when you want to eat. That's all. Right? Animals don't actually go around harming other animals for fun, or just to exert their authority, on other animals. Wala hawla wala quwwata illa billah. Right, so but that was what happened. Rasulullah was sent to a world there was a terrible, vicious world, and we're still in that world. That world is still here. It's a terrible, vicious world. It's a world of shayateen. This is the way of shaitan, right? To have zero mercy on anyone, and not just have zero mercy, but to show cruelty towards people who absolutely do not deserve it. Subhanallah, right? So Subhanallah. Right? So, but Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he faced all of this, see, that was in my class, fiqh tahawulat, and my teacher was just saying that the ones who have learned fiqh tahawulat, right, the biggest thing that Abu Bakr, and he said, is that you should be taking on the sunnatul mawaqif of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and your responses to people in your life should reflect the responses of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam towards people, right, in his seerah, right? So the more mean they were to him, right, the meaner they were to him, right, the worse they were to him, the more he showed of goodness towards them. Right, that is the way of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Right, so all the more, right, all the more you study the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, all the more, and however the people treat you, right, they are mean towards you, they say words about you, they do all kinds of things to you, right, all the more you try your very best, right, to be good towards them, inshallah. They only keep us strength. This is the most difficult thing, right? The ones who are irrationally mean towards you for no reason whatsoever, and to actually treat them well. Allah, right. So of course, the angels came to Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. They saw what happened. And that Subhanallah, anyone could tell that it's just unbecoming. It was unbecoming, subhanallah. Right. And then and they offered, the angel of the mountains came with Sayyidina Jibril and offered to crush the people of Ta'if with the mountains. But Rasulullah declined and instead made a prayer for descendants to be guided. And of course, whatever Rasulullah says, right, will come, will happen. Right? So whenever he says, I hope, meaning it will happen. Right? It'll be guidance, Sahih Bukhari. Right? So such was his unparalleled compassion and forgiving heart that encompass everyone, subhanallah, right? So his compassion and his forgiving heart, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And it is a standard that he has placed so high, mashallah. Right? For us to follow that standard is really subhanallah, subhanallah. Um, now, right, he loves us all and wants us to be guided, right, such that he bears so much grief and sadness when people do not accept guidance when it comes to them. That was the biggest thing in the year of grief, right? In Ta'if, the biggest thing that was afflicting him, that was pulling him down, right, was that people were not accepting, and that was his biggest issue, subhanallah. Subhanallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala comforted him, right, in that incident with Addas. Right? Addas gave his one person, mashallah. And you would say, how lucky Addas, oh Addas, how lucky you are, right, to have that very private, intimate moment with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, whereby he came and he brought the grapes to serve Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And you can imagine, just there's no one there. There's no one else there. Just you and this man. It was before Rasulullah was popular, right? Before his popularity, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and his name spread far and wide. You can imagine for Adas, young boy, ya bakhtahu, how lucky he is. Like that he had this moment with Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and he was able to kiss the hands and the feet, right, of the beloved Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. How lucky, mashallah. And how lucky he is that he was chosen by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be the divine comfort, right, to be comfort from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allah comforted Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, by sending one person, just one person, right, to remind him the story of Nabi Yunus. Right? Or as if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, Ya Rasulullah, right, oh my Prophet, right, Ya Rasul, right, remember Yunus. Right, remember Yunus. Right, remember the story of Nabi Yunus, how it seemed so bleak for him that he left the town, right? He basically he left his people, left the town, right? Remember him, right? Because he came back to his people and they were all believers. Right? And the exact same thing will happen to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right? That of course, by Allah's commandment, that he left the town, he left Mecca, and he came back, and they all came into Islam in hordes, right? They came into Islam in huge numbers, right? Subhanallah, right? So it is like Allah reminding him that Allah sends someone from the town of Nabi Yunus alayhi salam, and Allah reminding Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you're going to go the way of Yunus. Right? You're gonna, it's not gonna be like the other prophets whereby only a few of them believe till the end of their life. No, but Islam was spread so far and wide, and thousands of people be coming into Islam, right? Under the name of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as the Ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Mashallah. Okay, so inshallah, next lesson, just remind me. We are on the second paragraph, inshallah. Barakallahu feekum wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. We'll do the burda.